in order to temporarily allow the maid to leave the Duke's mansion. I sent her out to do something. Although the maid doesn't want to leave me, she is willing to do this for me. After seeing her leave the room, I summoned the Black Book to continue secretly practicing my skills. After arriving at the corresponding location, the maid happened to encounter a major event. The relevant personnel attempted to stop her, but were stabbed by her magic. How will she respond next? Moen sat up from the bed. He raised his hand, scratched his head, and pondered for a moment. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of the food he was going to eat. He said to Anne, "You can let me decide what to eat. This requirement is really small enough. However, this is also better than nothing." And seems to know that Moen has an idea about the food he wants to eat. She asked him, "So, have you already figured out what you want?" Moen didn't give his answer straight away. He closed his eyes and put his hand to his mouth, pretending to cough a few times. Speaking of which, it seems like autumn is coming soon. And didn't understand Moen's words for a while, but she still answered him, "Yes." Moen continued speaking. "I still remember this time in previous years. I was already on a ship at Beber Lake, enjoying the beautiful scenery of autumn leaves falling, drinking the red wine from Count Locke's estate, and tasting the fresh autumn fish that had just been caught." In Moen's memories, the clear Beber Lake was dyed with gold and orange in autumn. There are many maple trees planted on both sides of the lake. With a gentle breeze, some maple leaves broke free from the embrace of the maple trees and spun a few times in the air, before slowly drifting into the lake. On the lake, a large ship with the Campbell family emblem is sailing. The natural beauty of Beber Lake blends seamlessly with the large boats, creating a very beautiful autumn scenery. And raised his hand and touched his lips with his fingers. Her gaze looked upwards, as if she was contemplating something. After listening to what Moen said, she suddenly understood what food Moen was going to eat. However, she also has concerns about this food. She said to Moen, "Young master, would you like to eat fish from Beber Lake? But Beber Lake is so far away. If someone were to send it over, I'm afraid." At this moment, she heard sobbing from Moen. She snapped out of her thoughts and looked over at him. She was a little surprised by his reaction. Moen placed one hand on his chest and extended the other hand, making a very exaggerated speech-like gesture. He had a very sad expression on his face and looked ahead. There were some tears left in the corners of his eyes, as if he had really cried. He was making this gesture while expressing his current feelings to Anne. "Last year, I sailed on the lake like a true aristocrat. Now, I can only be locked up in this small prison and wait for death to come. This is such sadness, such pity." Then, Moen turned his head and quickly pulled up the blanket to cover himself. Sobbing could be faintly heard behind the blanket. He shook his head, seeming sad that Anne couldn't agree to his request. He cried and said to her at the same time, "I can't even eat the fish from Beber Lake. What's the point of such a life? I think I might as well just die." Young master, seeing Moen so sad, and hesitated for a moment. She felt a little guilty towards Moen. She reached out her hand to comfort him, but she still dared not step forward. However, what she didn't know was that behind the blanket, Moen's expression was not a sad one, but a mischievous smile. He seemed to have other ideas, but at this moment, he didn't tell Anne, and felt helpless towards Moen's request. She closed her eyes and sighed. She decided to agree to his request. Okay, I see. Upon hearing Anne's answer, Moen quickly put down the blanket and clenched her hands tightly. He looked at her with sincere eyes and said to her with great excitement, "Really? Did you really agree?" And was a bit surprised by Moen's approach. She was so scared that she opened her eyes, but she still remained calm in front of Moen. She calmly said to him, I will catch fish. At any cost. I will also let the young master eat fresh fish from Bebber Lake." Moen was very pleased with Anne's answer. He flashed Anne a warm smile and gave her a wink. He supported the bed with one hand and gestured with the other hand, giving her a flying kiss. He showed her his handsome movements. He praised her. "Truly the most reliable head maid in our family. It's really amazing. Go get them. I'll be waiting for you at home." And slowly widened her eyes and raised a hand to cover her mouth. Her face instantly took on a large blush. She was deeply fascinated by Moen's actions. Her heart was like being hit hard by an arrow he shot. Her heart was beating wildly due to his movements, like a reaction that a girl deeply in love would have. At this moment, Anne suddenly approached Moen. Moen slightly widened his eyes. He doesn't know what Anne is going to do next. Then, Anne gently grabbed Moen's shoulder, closed his eyes, and gave Moen a kiss. She couldn't resist the excitement in her heart about this kind of Moen. Moen felt as if time had come to a standstill at this very moment. He was very surprised by Anne's behavior. He opened his eyes wide and calmly looked at Anne in front of him. He didn't understand why she suddenly did such a thing to him. The kiss didn't last long. After a while, Anne pressed onto Moen's shoulder and slowly distanced herself from him. Then, she left Moen's bed and didn't explain to Moen what her previous behavior meant, nor did she say anything more to him. She silently turned around and walked briskly towards the door of the room. Moen felt a bit strange about Anne's reaction. He asked her with a puzzled tone, wanting to know what had happened to her. Anne didn't look back at Moen because of his words. She doesn't seem to want to stay here for too long. She stood at the door with her back to Moen and told him her plan. Bebber Lake is quite a distance away. I will be back before noon tomorrow. Please be patient during this period. Young master. Moen seems to have been scared by Anne's aura. He stared at her blankly and answered her hesitantly. Okay, and bid him farewell calmly. All right, I'm off now. Then, she pulled open the heavy iron door and walked out, gently closing the door, and seems to be trying to suppress her emotions. She lowered her head, her expression obscured by shadows. She walked briskly forward quietly, while silently thinking in her heart. Too close. I almost couldn't hold back. Young master is really the cutest in the world. I need to catch the fish quickly, so that I can have more time to spoil him when I come back. In fact, Anne's inner excitement was already almost uncontrollable. She showed a shy expression. Her face was once again flushed, and even some nosebleeds were coming out of her nose. She hurriedly lifted her hand to cover her nose, trying to stop the rapid flow of nosebleeds. Moen made such a handsome gesture towards her, which made her feel very happy. Although she still wants to do more for Moen. In order to get the food, she must go to Bebber Lake. Seeing that Anne had already left his room, Moen breathed a sigh of relief. He muttered to himself, "She finally left. Although I was tormented by her for another night, I finally found my chance." Next. Black Book. My baby. Moen lifted his left hand. At this moment, a black-purple energy gathered in his hands. Upon hearing Moen's call, the black energy immediately transformed into a book and appeared in his hands.
Hi! Pineapple has a good news to tell you. My app Lullaby can now be downloaded on the App Store and Google Play. You can search for Lullaby Light Novel in the search bar to find the app. After downloading the app, you can read our exclusive novels and comics more easily on your mobile phone. If you are interested, you can download Lullaby from the App Store and Google Play.